Good situational day from a football standpoint. We worked some 4-minute get the ball back scenarios there at the end, a little bit of 2-minute coming back. Had a really lively competition, really went back and forth. Saw some big plays down the field from offense today. Saw some big stops on third down in our third down competition. But overall, really competitive practice. I think it was a good day for us to get better.
How in-depth of conversation do you have with players after scrimmage, like on Saturday, about where they kind of are on the depth chart and where they are going forward?
We're going to talk a lot about depth chart. We talk about how do we get better, right? That's what we really focus on, right? And how do you get better to where you can be the kind of player that can play for us and operate for us day in and day out on a Saturday. But we go to the doctor. We do it right up just like we would in a normal game. We review the film. We have corrections. So all those things are the same.
Is that something you do throughout the week, or is there kind of a set time after Saturdays, after scrimmages that you do?
Yeah, we covered it all on Monday, right? And then we figure out what we got to do going forward in the next practices. What do we still need to work on? What do we need to improve on?
With the deep dives on the scrimmage, what that result in for you guys? What did you find out?
There's a lot of pieces, right? I think we got a lot of football players that can play. I think we're have more depth, especially defensively right now, have more depth than we did last year. Overall, got the ability to have a lot of guys that can have success. Need to continue to coach the fundamentals, right? When it comes to ball security or attacking the ball, both sides of that, and just playing ball.
What are you hoping to do, obviously, differently, or what are you hoping to incorporate differently this week into a second scrimmage? What are you looking for results-wise in the second scrimmage that are different maybe than last week? Yeah,
we'll just incorporate a couple more situations, right? Try to create the game before the game. Talking about scenarios about when it's right to go down as a runner inbounds as opposed to out of bounds. Situational football like that.
You mentioned on Saturday with Terrence out that there'd be guys capable of filling in at tight end. Has anybody actually started doing that on a day-to-day basis in practice, and can you share any of those names?
Yeah, a few people, right? Like Mateo's a guy that's had history. Shipley is a little dinged up right now, but he's a guy that's been able to flip over to the other side. We also got guys like Connerly that lined up at tight end last year in a game. So I think we got a lot of guys that have some versatility there, but certainly a position that we have a need for and have our eyes open for it.
With Jamal, working a couple different positions here, you mentioned his versatility. What about him made him a kind of fit there, and what have you seen from him when he's at the second level so far this spring?
Yeah, smart player, tries really hard and plays really hard. I think that shows up consistently, the effort that he plays with, can take information, use it to figure out what he needs to do better the next time, and then just plays with a level of intensity. I think he has a lot of respect from his peers.
Last year we saw Jordan James have mostly a role in that 14J package, those short yardage packages, but he kind of started to expand that late in the Oregon State game and the bowl game. How have you seen that continue to expand this offseason?
Yeah, I think Jordan's a complete running back. I think he can do all things, and we want to challenge him to continue to do more.
Inside backer, we bring in Connor and Justin, and now it's almost 10 practices in. Just where do they start to fit for you? What are you starting to see from them in terms of upside and what you saw from film, and what are they translating here versus what they need to work on?
Yeah, those guys are just working really hard. I think we got a really good competitive group that works well, meshes well together. Both those guys are productive players. I think we have a lot more special teams value in those positions this year than we have last year. And we want starters to be able to play on special teams for us. But those guys just ultimately, they work really hard, right? And they're starting to reap, the benefits, the fruits of their labor.
To that point, I don't think we've asked you much about the return game. I'm not sure how much live punting and kicking you've done, but is anyone starting to pop there for either the kick or punt return?
Yeah, a lot of returner action. I think we have several guys on our team that can go back there and be returners right now. Still trying to find some more consistency now at the punting position. We've had some guys that are hemmed up a little bit, but I think we have good experience there with Boyle and Cam and different guys that have kicked. But continue to compete at punt and figure out where we're at there.
Overall, you talked this year that defense is kind of taking a step in the second year. Have you seen that happen with special teams a little bit as well?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think comfortability in the scheme, but ultimately a lot of times it comes to, one person's performance on each play, and we want to find some more consistency on those plays.
You mentioned putting more starters on there, Dan, and again, to casual observers, they'd say, well, how come you just didn't do that before? But part of it is something that, especially last season, just you don't want to risk things for certain guys, and just we talk about depth, that depth enables you to do that with some guys, where putting some starters on there is maybe not a great idea last season at times.
Yeah, I mean, I just ultimately you got to have guys that want to go out there and compete and be great for their team and do that for their team. And when you have great competition, you have a lot of guys that can play. You have more guys that can play special teams.
We haven't talked a lot about him, but what have you seen from Johnny Cornelius through these 10 practices so far?
Yeah, I think he's playing faster and faster every day as he gets more acclimated. Obviously Coach Terry's doing a great job coaching him. Really excited about his demeanor on the field, and as he continues to pick things up, I think he has got a chance to be really successful.
J.J. Greenfield, Broadway, we go back to the Holiday Bowl. He was finishing off and running with the twos quite a bit, and productive guy by the end of the season for you. What has he brought so far this spring, and as he kind of progresses?
Yeah, he's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He can play a lot of positions, both safety positions with his star position. Again, a guy that can do things on special teams as well. So, appreciate how he's worked.
How are things looking behind Bo, Nick's backups? Or how's the improvement there, or how's it going?
Yeah, Ty had a really good day today. I thought today was probably Ty's most impressive practice so far this spring. Thought he did a lot of really good things out there operating as a quarterback. Austin's continued to come along there, but continue to create more competition at that position.
You've got a couple of true freshmen at deep safety, and kind of the further away you are from the ball. I don't know if you ascribe to the idea that the further away you are, theoretically the faster you could play or acclimate. What have you seen from Cody and Tyler and their ability to acclimate quickly, potentially at deep safety?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that statement. I mean, I think they have a lot more checks and a lot more adjustments than a 3 technique has, right? So ultimately, both those guys are working really hard. They do a really good job. So far, I've been impressed with them. Want to go back and watch practice today and see how they did, but I saw a couple good hits. They're both willing tacklers. Certainly are willing to put their face in the fan.
What are your thoughts of the portal window this spring, Dan? Guys are going to go in and out all over the country, but in terms of just the timing, because it probably helps more the semester schools who are wrapped up already versus quarter schools that still have a week or two to go. And I realize some of that's choice, but what are your thoughts of just the timing of this as opposed to if it was in May or not having a spring window at all? Or
Yeah, I'd rather it be now than May. I mean, ultimately in May, you're going to be on the road as a coach, recruiting. So it's not like you can be here, to hosting and being at home, checking on house. So we're here. The portal's it's here, it exists. So we're going to adapt and adjust to it. But I think we're doing as good a job as anybody when it comes to that.
How do you feel like the overall team speed's improved since you arrived last spring?
Yeah, I think we're faster. I think we're bigger. I think we're stronger. I think that's, really credit to our weight room staff, Coach Love, Jaws, really that whole group in there. Shad, Coach Tupou. I mean, we just got a bunch of guys, Coach Davis, that have done a great job in the off-season training. And then we do a good job of monitoring it, too, and making sure we continue to hit high speeds.
Is there anybody who's kind of caught your eye in that sense, who's substantially just appears more athletic than they were last year?
I don't know that I'd say that. Tez hit a deep ball today, and he wasn't here with us last year, but he obviously has some real speed, which is nice to see out there on the field. Appreciate it.